All right, hello everyone. My name is Jake. I'm on the performance innovation team at Tonal. And yesterday, Tonal released the Tonal 2 with two new features that a lot of people have been working to bring to life here at Tonal. So I figured today I would just record this simple video to give a little background on the features, but a lot of that information has already been covered to a much better extent than I can do myself. But what I figured I could do at the minimum is, yes, talk about the features a little bit, but really just show how I've incorporated some of these features into my workout routine already through their development process. So kind of yes, I work for Tonal, but also I love the product. I've done over 150 workouts on it this past year, so I'll give you kind of the dual perspective of my experience throughout the development process, but also from a user, how it's already found its way into my workout routine, to hopefully just give people more perspective on what these features can do, and then at the end maybe respond to any questions anyone has. Okay, without further ado, the two features, in addition to the 250 pounds max weight and the Smart View enhanced form feedback that Tonal released with Tonal 2, we have Drop Set mode and we have Aero, or our HIIT mode or metabolic conditioning. Drop Set mode is available on Tonal 1 and Tonal 2, so if you're in the Tonal ecosystem, then especially this first part is going to be hyper relevant for you. And Aero mode is currently only available for Tonal 2. So just a quick background on drop sets, maybe for those of you who don't have a background in the exercise science space or frequent many public gyms, but a drop set or a strip set is a way to elong the set as you approach failure. So you can envision this either on a bench press, where instead of just doing 10 reps to failure and ending the set, or within 2 reps to failure, you would have a partner take some of the weight off for you after a couple of reps, and then you keep performing more reps under fatigue. And the other example would be running the rack on dumbbells with bicep curls, where you start with maybe 35s or 40s, you do a couple reps till fatigue, and then you pick up lighter weights, and so forth. The reason why people tend to do drop sets is typically twofold. One, you can get a lot of volume in a short period of time. Most of the literature shows a dose-response relationship between volume and muscle growth. So for people who have muscle growth as a primary goal, it's a great way, again, to be efficient with your training and just add some volume in. It's also a way to train to failure and sort of maximize that motor unit recruitment. There's sort of this adage in the exercise science research where you can't grow muscle fibers that you don't activate. And as you approach failure, you're going to activate all the muscle fibers that you have. So it's a great tool to go to failure when it's appropriate for you, and activate all those muscle fibers, and also train efficiently, get a lot of volume in a short period of time. Most of the research on drop sets show that it's equivocal, so it's definitely not this advanced training technique that's going to give you these superior gains to traditional training, but if used as a tool, it can definitely supplement your overall training routine by either giving you these hyper efficient training sessions when you don't have a lot of time and you just have 10 minutes to do a couple drop sets, or if you are very trained and very advanced and you want to finish off a session with drop sets, gives you not only that training to failure, but also excessive amounts of volume, which could be relevant for you. Personally, I like to do 30 to 45 minute sessions first thing in the morning on Tonal. And that's including my warm-up. So I'm really only working out for about 30 minutes on Tonal. Just kind of fits my life. I like to do my upper body, my lower body days. Upper body, I like to do around 20 sets in total, and mainly just distribute those between the chest and back. I don't have a lot of time to train, so I typically don't do a lot of isolation sessions or really spend much time directly on the arm. So while you can definitely do drop sets for front squats and bench press and bent over rows and these large compound movements, it's kind of already fit its way into my training routine. Every upper body session I do, I finish off with a bicep and a triceps drop set. I end with a great pump, and instead of spending an extra 15-20 minutes to do 3 sets of biceps and 3 sets of triceps, it literally only takes a couple minutes. So literally every single upper body session, I usually end with hammer curls and tricep extensions. One of the reasons why Tonal is so uniquely positioned to sort of take these drop sets or these strip sets forward is because when you're doing them in a public setting or a gym, you either need a spotter or you need a helper, and that can create a clunky experience where you're taking weights off. It can also be imprecise. You have to either take off 45 pounds or 5 pounds, and it also is not personalized to you. Everyone has different fatigue profiles, and it's just sort of this clunky, imprecise, requires some extra help experience that takes away from sort of the desired effect of gradually bringing you towards failure as you get that pump you're searching. Now with Tonal, we track the position and the velocity of every single rep that you do, and we have these personalized thresholds that are going to adapt to your fatigue profile. So as soon as you start to fatigue, we're going to gradually take the load off in precise increments as 1 pound if necessary, and we're only going to take load off as you fatigue. So our initial drop specific to your fatigue profile, and our continuing drops, we are responding to you. And you don't need a spotter, you don't need any help. I do it all by my own. So that's one of the reasons why once we were in the lab and have this idea, we got really excited because we know that we can not only create this new experience for all strength trainers, but especially for our members who really care about what's the cutting edge in the industry. So that was a lot of talking. What I'll do now is I'll show you 2 drop sets. I'll show you one from that angle, and I'll show you one close up so you can see it drop in real time. And then I'll pivot to talk about how Aero has kind of fit into my workout routine already, and I'll show you one of my Aero supersets as well, or Aero complexes as well, and then hopefully wrap it up at there. Okay, so first up I'm doing hammer curl, then I'm gonna go into tricep extension superset. Again, this is how I train. This is how I end most of my sessions. So starting off with roughly an 8 RM load, which for me is 46 pounds. And I'm on paternity leave, so usually I'm much stronger. My biceps are bigger, but bear with me. Okay, so ideally I'm gonna get about 8 reps before that first rep drops, and I'm just gonna keep going until failure, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully you can see the weight start to drop. If not, I'll call it out in live time. Okay, here we go. Tonal 2 review, drop set, coming in hot. All right. There's my first drop. In good time, right? 10. Second drop. Third drop. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. Oh God. Okay, a little lightheaded. I got 28 reps, 1,022 pounds of volume, I think about 4 or 5 drops, and you also got to see some of our new enhanced coaching cues. Wow, I'm pretty pumped up. That came in because I got a little excited. I usually train alone, but we have some visitors today, so I was going a little too fast. But that's a drop set. You can see here my velocity started to decrease. As my velocity was dropping past a certain threshold, the load was coming off, enabling me to keep going. I would have failed probably at 10 or 11, but instead I got 28 reps, and I think that's a pretty hypertrophic stimulus, if I might say myself, in a very time-efficient manner. Okay, so next move, we're going to pivot into some tricep extensions, and I will I'll bring the camera closer to the front so you can see. Drop 1. Drop 2. 3. 4. Oh, wow. Wow. Holy cow. There we go. we got, I can't even read right now, 1,069 pounds of volume. We got 29 reps, and that was a pretty intense drop set. So you can see again, velocity starts to decrease, load starts coming off. There's my dog in the background. As the load comes off, I'm able to get more reps in there, and I'm gonna pause the video while I catch my breath. That is drop sets on Tonal. There we go, we're back. Now we'll pivot and talk about Aero. So hopefully this is a good angle. Again, terrible videographer. Cardio and strength training, they're both having a moment, which is incredible. John Christie, my boss, likes to call Aero a strength forward cardio. And me, I grew up, my introduction to strength training was from wrestling. And so that circuit style, kettlebell swings, bodyweight exercises, and assault bike, sort of my bread and butter, my introduction to training, and my favorite type of training. Aero, for me, I was so excited once we introduced this, strength forward cardio or HIIT training, because it's a safe pattern. You can bring your body through a full range of motion, and you're not going to get hurt. I got an injury and I had to stop wrestling, and overall I'm just a very soft person who can't tolerate aggressive exercises or a lot of load, but I like to train. I like to get that oomph. And Aero for me is sort of already made its way into my training. You can do sit training, you can do HIIT training, you can do VO2 max thresholds. You can really sort of make Aero your own training experience or take our guided content. For me personally, wow, I'm really pumped, sorry. For me personally, before Tonal, I was at P3, and my favorite training days there for athletes were what we call these regen days. And it was kind of like that circuit style, but incorporated with bodyweight exercises and also some targeted mobility. So on a perfect world, I like to train weights 4 times a week, and then either do cardio or mobility for a 5th session. Aero has become that 5th session for me, and my body and my heart and everything feels better because of it. I usually fit it in about the again, Wednesdays, so I'll go maybe legs, upper body, Aero, and then repeat that same cycle. So I'll kind of show you some of the moves, what the experience is going to look like, and I'll also walk you through what my regen circuit looks like. And again, it's really had a positive impact on my life. I text our work group chat all the time. I feel better mentally and physically because I get to do all these loaded stretches as well in that same circuit. So I'm going to pivot this really quickly and then maybe adjust the camera. So. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Arms were pretty pumped, and so the brain's not all there. I just set up my traditional trunk day or my regen day circuit. We have 5 new Aero moves. I'm going to do 3 of them back to back. And then I do some isometric exercises that really target the muscles around the hips. So I'll speed through them so you don't have to watch them all, but I'll kind of give you the brief backstory of what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go Aero mini pull, and then I'm going to go into an Aero lunge, and the Aero power pull. Again, I'm going to go at a moderate to high intensity for these. I'm going full range of motion. My goal here is just to get blood flowing, heart rate up, because I don't tend to do that much in my normal daily life. After those 3 exercises, I'm going to go into a rear foot elevated iso split squat, and I like this for 2 reasons. One, the isometric contraction of the quad is really good for patellar tendinopathy, and then also I get that loaded stretch on the hip flexors, and this was a move my S&C mentor, shout out Sam Brown, the GOAT, he had me do because I'm always complaining of really tight hip flexors from sitting behind a desk. So I do 30 seconds on each side, and with the isos you can kind of make them as easy or hard as the intent behind it, but I'm really kind of giving that everything I got. So I'm going to go 3 rounds there, 30 seconds each side. Then I'm going to hop into a Copenhagen plank. Again, really strengthen those groin muscles, and then also get some of the core activated as well. So we got our hip flexors, our groin muscles, and then I'm going to go into a hamstring bridge walkout to get some of those glutes and hammies. So I really like all of these because I activate the core and it opens up my hips a lot, especially that hamstring walkout. Really gives me some relief, some traction at that lower spine. And so I get that, get the relief from my hip flexors, I strengthen the groin, I take some pressure off the back, going full range of motion, getting the heart rate up, and now I'm gonna do a lat stretch into a pec stretch as well, get some upper body there. So I'll do one round here and then end the video. Hopefully I'll speed it up, but depending on the goal for the day, I'll auto-regulate my intensity on the aero moves, and if I really want to do some conditioning, maybe I'll do 4 or 5 rounds. But if I'm short for time and I really just want to get some movement in, maybe I'll just do 2 rounds. And again, this is only one way that aero can be brought into your training. So I will adapt this really quick. Hopefully this is there. Okay, Tonal 2 review, aero, starting with the aero mini pull, then the lunge, and the power pull coming in hot. Okay, here we go. Aero mini, hinge, squat, bracing the core. Now I've got some warm-up reps in me. I'm gonna pick up the intensity a little bit. That's the aero mini. It's a good warm-up move for aero. And again, just to give you a little backstory on how the aero is going to feel. It's kind of going to simulate a flywheel where it's going to be heavy up top, and then once you get moving with that momentum, it's going to get a little easier at the bottom. So it's like a nice heavy pull, and you recover on the upswing. And yeah, that's the aero mini. I don't know what else to say about that, but yeah, already feeling heart's pumping. Got some range of motion, still pumped from the drop set experience. Now I'm going to go into the aero lunge. Aero lunge. Yeah, heart's moving. I had something to say, but then I forgot, so maybe it'll come to me at the end. But oh yeah, and there's 10 different resistances. Starting at a 5 here. You can think of the resistance on aero not as your 1-to-1 pounds like you'll see on our strength moves, but more as like the gears on a bike. So if you want to be a little stickier, a little hard to get going at the top, you can bump it up. And then yeah, if you want just be more of that recovery, that warm up, make it a little less sticky, you can go maybe that 3, 4, 5 range. I can already feel the judgment, so for this last one, I'll bump it up to 7. This next move is the power pull. Our director, Troy Taylor, likes to call this one like a reverse med ball slam, but repeated actions. This is one of our most aggressive, or has opportunity to be the most aggressive moves. Full range of motion, one of my favorites. You just kind of feel good when you do it. Here we go. I'm stalling. I don't know what else to say, but let's just hop into it. Okay. Aero power pull Tonal 2 review. Here we go. Yep, that's the power pull. 30 seconds, those are the 3 moves that I tend to do. We got an aero twist and an aero chop. Some other moves that I'll work in there, but I didn't do today. Now I'm gonna go into my sort of iso trunk session, and let me see if there's I might move this around a little bit, but that's the aero, and now we flow. Hopefully this isn't terrible. Okay, Hopping into the ISO. Some of the other benefits of this workout, again, I'm really maximizing that contraction on the quad, and I'm really pushing down into that bench to get that length and stretch on the opposite hip flexor. Another reason why I like these workouts is I actually program the moves in Tonal as I'm doing them. Not only to hold me accountable, as my previous workout partners told me that I cheat reps and time, so it tracks that. But I also, all these off-tonal movements, they're going to give me some functional strength points, which is going to help me reach my weekly target. Okay, now we're going to switch. In this rest period, as I'm switching, I'm talking, so the intensity of this is a little lower than usual. So yeah, cut me a break if you're going to give me some negative comments. Okay, here we go. Squeezing the quad, really getting that length and stretch for all my work from home people out there. You know the struggle. All right, and there you have it. That was one round. Some other moves that sometimes I work in there, I'll do like a 90-90 hip stretch and either some bird dogs or some dead bugs. And again, depending on the goal for the day, I might do 2, 3, 4 of those rounds. But that's sort of how I fit Aero into my workout routine, and I'm really excited for Aero to now be out in the wild to see how our members and just the strength training community at large responds to it. My brain's a little foggy from all the drop sets and the Aero, so hopefully I've covered everything. There's a bunch of great content on Tonal, and if you're not a Tonal member, that body weight circuit, my hips really feel good from it, so you can apply that. If you're a Tonal original member, Drop Sets is waiting for you, and if you have the Tonal 2, you got more weight, you got better form feedback, you got the front-facing camera with an enhanced field of view. You got Drop Sets, you got Aero, you have the world in your hands. Yeah, if there's any questions, and let me know in the comments. And other than that, I'll say let's power some progress together in 2025. Let's go.